How's it going, everybody? Hopefully your day is good. We are continuing on with our mindful message number 2 today. This one is how to get your teens to talk about it. Whatever is bothering them, you know something's bothering them, you can't get them to open up, you just want to help them, or maybe you do know what it is, but they won't talk to you about it. Could be for teachers, this could be for parents. Sorry, this wind is fucking my hair up. Anyway, let's get into how to get your teens to talk to you. I am not an expert. I am not a shrink. Let me just put this out there. But I was a very troubled teen, and I work with troubled teens, not in a professional, volunteer work, okay? And I'm not a counselor. But, alright, so I would start if you have a friend around your child that's been there for many years, they spend time at your house. I don't support getting friends involved in personal stuff, but, if this is something bothering them at school, now keep in mind that friend is going to be a little awkward talking to their friend's parents, so don't expect them to be snitching on their friends, but you can flip the script and be like, hey, I know this is very strange, but my son or daughter, they seem to be going through a lot, and I know they listen to you, and maybe they'll talk to you about it, maybe they'll open it up. I was just wondering if you could perhaps work away in the conversation. Why don't you talk to your parents, or is there somebody that you're comfortable talking to, and help usher them to getting some adult help, or just asking them if they're okay, if their friends have been, don't make it weird. You don't want to make it feel like you are digging for dirt on your kid. Just be like, hey, they've been down this week. Have they been okay at school? Or do they seem down, or are they pushing you guys away? Are they acting normal? I think these are healthy questions, and I don't feel like other teenagers would be turned off or put off by that. It really is your approach, but asking them for a little bit of help to see if your child's okay, and if they can get them to open up to an adult. Every little bit helps, and teens trust each other better than they trust parents. And if anything, it just shows your kids that, hey, you care enough to check in with the people around them. But don't overstep and tell too much to the friend. You don't want to spread your kid's business around. Just open up the door hey, I really am trying to get my kid to talk to me, and they listen to you, they respect you. Can you just remind them we love them, we're going to be there for them no matter what happens. Everybody needs help sometimes. Positive affirmation from a friend can go a long way in getting your child to open up to you. But teens are very sensitive. If they're in a new school, a new area, or they don't know the friend that well, and you try to do something like that, it could come across pushy. I would only do this if this friend has been around for years, maybe went on a family vacation with you, or has sleepovers, or is at your house a couple times a week. Maybe they play sports together. There's an established relationship, like an extended family. You can also do this with cousins or other siblings of theirs in the house. You can look at your other kids and be like, hey, will you help me figure out what's going on with so-and-so? Will you talk to them, see if they're okay? I'm worried about them. That's perfectly healthy to do that. Just make sure that it doesn't feel like you're isolating them or targeting them in any way, or being overbearing with their friends. Kids get embarrassed very easy, oh my God, 21 questions with my friends. Just make sure it doesn't come across that way. It's a very brief, quick conversation, and you keep it moving. You just put that initiative out there, that they have someone talking to them and asking and on your behalf. You can also do this with grandparents or aunts and uncles. If they're close to other adults in your family, you can reach out and be like, hey, we're in that awkward phase. My teen doesn't tell me anything. They're angry at me. I really just want to know if they're okay, or what's going on with the situation, or if I should be worried. You are the parent at the end of the day. If your child is acting strange and you're suspecting that they're doing bad things, I wouldn't, listen, I feel like this is a very thin line, but if you're trying to find out if your kid is doing drugs or if your kid is doing something bad, I fully support stalking your kid for a day or a couple days. Like, don't let them know that you're around. Say they're going to so-and-so's house and check up and make sure they're really at that person's house. And if they're not at that person's house, then, well, something's up. And you have every right to be concerned about where your child is. Again, respect boundaries. If you just see them at the library flirting with a boy, it's not as serious as catching them doing some kind of drug. You know what I mean? Rate it properly. And when I say stalking, it doesn't mean go through their stuff or their phone. It means follow them appropriately. And don't be creepy about it, parents. You can get your kids in therapy. A lot of times with teenagers, you're going to have to go through a few psychologists before they find someone they really, really like, or they're just going to be like, oh, you have to push and fight back, because the number one MO of a teenager, I don't want to. I'm being forced to. I'm being forced to talk to them. But you are the parent, and you know what's best for your kid. And sometimes when I was a teenager, my parents pushed me into therapy, and I would sit there and be quiet. And sometimes I wouldn't. And those times when I wouldn't, it really helped. Like, no teenager is going to open up. Well, not no. There are some very adult and mature children that understand that they need help and will ask for it, but that's very rare. So you have to be the one that's like, you know what, nobody likes therapy, but you're going to keep going. It's going to benefit you. Just do what they say and try. The best you can do is try. If you want to feel better, you got to put that energy into healing, and that includes talking about your feelings. And they're going to be mad at you, and they're going to yell at you, and they're going to say all kinds of things. But at the end of the day, just keep trying and find if they're not jiving with a counselor by the third or fourth session, try a different one. Eventually someone is going to connect with your kid and talk to them. They also have programs in your community, like youth program classes, like cooking classes, baking classes. I would sign up with my kid to do an activity, get them in a place where you're going to have to work together and get you speaking. But it's not so serious that they're going to be uncomfortable speaking. Car rides are good for this. Getting in the car where they can't run away, and just don't be forceful. Don't push too much. But getting in a car and talking about it, if they get upset, just change the subject and come back to it when you're calm again. But doing these activities together, like mom or dad and me, or uncle, grandma and me, going out one-on-one over time, like make this a point every week to do that. Pick a day in that week that works for you and just spend some individual time. You'll be surprised by the third or fourth week that they start opening up to you about their problems and their friends. But once you gain that trust, don't break it by telling everybody their business or being too pushy or embarrassing them in front of their friends. You can take them out to ice cream or out to eat. Like I said, that's another one-on-one thing where you're forced to look at each other and talk. If you don't have good open communication with your kids, you can make them a playlist of positive or upbeat songs. Be like, I just want you to feel better, and I want you to know that I care. And most kids might roll their eyes, but I bet you they will listen to it. Going for a walk or a jog together, or just working out, doing something physical, working out the aggression while you talk is helpful. Showering them with compliments and helping their self-esteem every day, and helping them to see that you're an ally, that you can be trusted, and that you care and you listen. If you create the environment, your teens will react to it. When we're too busy and we're not giving them one-on-one individual attention is when they start feeling like nobody cares, and they get in that lost bubble. So giving them time and attention and giving them room to be comfortable to talk is your most vital step to getting them to communicate. I hope this was helpful.